Let's take a look at some two-step equations. Now, the first thing to keep in mind when you're solving two-step equations is to make sure your variable is only on one side. Now, to solve for the value of a two-step equation, we use the inverse of the operations that are being done to the variable in our equation. All this means is that we're doing the opposite of the order of operations. So we're doing the opposite of PEMDAS. So let's take a look at some examples. Number one, we have 7m, or 7 times m, minus 5 equals 16. So here we have multiplication, here we have subtraction, and our equal sign. So we know that this evaluates to 16. So let's find the value of m. So remember, we're working backwards from the order of operations. So we have multiplication and subtraction. We have our variable on one side. So the first thing we're going to do is just draw a line down the equal sign. Now, because we're working backwards through the order of operations, we start with addition, subtraction first. So I have subtraction here. So the inverse of subtraction is addition. So to get rid of that minus 5, we're going to add 5 to both sides to keep it equal. Remember, in an equation, when you're solving, what you do to one side, you do to the other. So here, we're left with 7m equals 16 plus 5, which is 21. So now we're left with multiplication. So to undo the multiplication, we use the inverse, which is to divide. So let's divide both sides by 7. So m is equal to 3. Number 2, we have 13 plus 6 times a equals 73. So we have here a positive, which is addition, and then we have multiplication here. So let's draw a line down the equal sign. The first thing we get rid of is that 13. So we're going to subtract 13 to get rid of a positive 13. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So we're left with 6a equals 73 minus 13, which is 60. Now we're left with multiplication, 6 times a. So to undo the multiplication, we divide by 6 on both sides. That leaves us with a equals 10. Now, what you can do to check that your answer is correct, that your solution is correct, is plug it back into your original equation and see if it is true. So number 1, we have 7 times m, which we are saying is 3, minus 5 equals 16. So let's check if that's true. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 minus 5 is 16. So this is correct. So my solution is right. Number 2, we have a is 10. So let's work that out here off on the side. We have 13 plus 6 times 10 equals 73. So we have 13 plus 60 equals 73, which is true. So my answer here is 10. Number 3, we have 9 plus f divided by 8 equals 12. Let's draw a line down our equal sign. So here we have a positive 9. Here we have division. So we're going to start with the 9. We're going to subtract 9 on both sides. We're left with f divided by 8 equals 12 minus 9, which is 3. So we have f divided by 8 equals 3. The inverse of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply this times 8. That means we're going to multiply 3 times 8 as well. So we're left with f equals 3 times 8, which is 24. Again, let's go ahead and plug it in to check. We have 9 plus 24 divided by 8 equals 12. 9 plus 24 divided by 8 is 3. So 9 plus 3 equals 12, which is true. So f indeed equals 24. Number 4, we have 43 equals 8 times c minus 5. So here we have multiplication and we have subtraction. Draw a line down the equal sign. Let's go ahead and undo the subtraction first. So let's add 5 to both sides. So here we have 43 plus 5 is 48 equals 8 times c. We're left with multiplication. So to undo multiplication, we're going to divide both sides by 8. And we're left with 48 divided by 8, which is 6. So 6 equals c. So let's go ahead and plug that in. We have 43 equals 8 times 6 minus 5. So 43 equals 8 times 6 is 48. 48 minus 5 equals 43, which is true. So 6 does equal c. All right, so let's take a look at some more. We have 6x minus 10 equals 98. So we have multiplication and subtraction. We're going to add 10 to both sides. So we're left with 6 times x equals 98 plus 10, which is equal to 108. Next, we have to undo the multiplication, so we're going to divide both sides by 6. So let's go ahead and do that off on the side really quick. 108 divided by 6. 6 goes into 1 0 times, into 10 one time. That gives me a remainder of 4. Bring down the 8. 6 goes into 48 8 times. So x equals 18. So we have 6 times 18 minus 10 equals 98. So if we work out 6 times 18, that is 108. 108 minus 10 equals 98, which is true. So x equals 18. Number 6, we have 6 plus b divided by 2 equals 14. Draw a line down the equal sign. We have a positive 6, so to undo that positive 6, we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. We're left with b divided by 2 equals 14 minus 6, which is 8. Next, we have our division. So to undo the division, we're going to multiply both sides times 2. So 8 times 2. So we're left with b equals 8 times 2, which is 16. So here we have 6 plus 16 divided by 2 equals 14. Again, remember you're rewriting your original equation and plugging in your solution for your variable. So we have 6 plus 16 divided by 2, which is 8. So 6 plus 8 is 14, which is true. So b equals 16. My smiley faces are getting worse. Number 7, we have 12 minus 2 times e equals 30. We're going to undo that 12, the positive 12. So we're going to subtract 12 from both sides. We're left with negative 2 times e equals 30 minus 12, which is 18. Next, we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. We're left with e equals 18 divided by negative 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9, so 18 divided by negative 2 is negative 9. So we have 12 minus 2 times negative 9 equals 30. 12 minus 2 times negative 9 is negative 18, but since we're doing subtraction, we can change that to adding the opposite, so that would just be 12 plus positive 18. So 12 plus positive 18 equals 30. So 12 plus 18 equals 30, which is true. Number 8, we have 8 plus 9 times v So we have a positive 8, and then we have multiplication. Let's go ahead and undo that positive 8. Subtract 8 from both sides. We're left with 9 times v equals, let's see, we have 3 minus 8. Can't do that. Borrow from the 5. So we have 13 minus 8, which is 5. Bring down the 4. So divide both sides by 9. And we're left with v equals 5. So we have 8 plus 9 times 5 equals 53. So 8 plus 45 equals 53, which is true. So our answer here is v equals 5. Okay, so here are some problems for you to try it on your own to practice solving out two-step equations. Remember, actually we'll get to that in a bit. So use those problems to practice your skills. Let's go ahead and summarize. So the first thing you need to make sure of is to move your variable to one side. So it either has to be on your left or on the right. And to solve for the variable, you have to use the inverse operations. So basically you are working through your order of operations backwards. So the opposite of PEMDAS. You start with addition subtraction first, whichever one comes first from left to right, and then you move on to division multiplication, and then to the rest. Once you find your answer, plug it back into your original equation to see if the statement is true. That way you can double check that you are done. And that's it. I hope this lesson has been helpful, and if you have any questions, don't forget to reach out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.